What's up, Taiwan? I'm Tiffany Wong with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Opposition lawmakers are slamming the ruling party for the 20% tariff the United States imposed on Taiwan last week, saying bilateral talks with the U.S. lack transparency.
不确定性不要再拖延下去。可是我们现在发现，因为政府到目前为止还一直在讲说要继续谈判，而且不对外公开，神秘兮兮的，一直在盖牌的状况下，这对整个产业的发展、对政府的因应、对全民的安定非常的不利。
The opposition also expressed concern that Taiwan could lose its edge in the U.S. market since neighboring countries like Japan and South Korea were only tariffed at 15%. A lead trade negotiator defended the government's decision to keep negotiations confidential, saying it's standard practice.
那我们回过头来，台美之间的这个保密协议，是由我国的驻美代表处以及 AIT 所签署。这一个要求呢，基本上是这个保密协定要求，依照国际惯例。
Taiwan President Lai Ching-te says the 20% tariff rate is only temporary, and his administration is working to negotiate a lower rate with the U.S. To understand what to expect next in U.S.-Taiwan trade, our reporter Chris Gorin speaks to John Deng, Taiwan's former top trade negotiator.
I want to start with some recent news. Over the weekend, there was an interview with U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer, in which he said that he doesn't expect the recently announced tariff rates to be reduced anytime soon. Now, it seems to be a little bit at odds with what Taiwan President Lai Ching-te said, which is that the 20% tariff recently announced for Taiwan was only temporary, and that it would be reduced soon once a new trade deal is announced. Do you think that this 20% tariff rate will go down in the near future?
I think this depends upon how much and what we can offer to the United States. One, whether we can open up our market. Second, how much investment you can put in United States. Third, how much deficit, trade surplus you have with the United States. Of course, from Taiwan's perspective, 20% is a little bit high. And we hope we all, the society, business community, and the whole society wants to have a lower rate. That's the goal.
Before you left government, as the trade representative for Taiwan, you actually led the negotiations on the U.S.-Taiwan Initiative on 21st Century Trade. And when these reciprocal tariffs were announced in April, actually there were ongoing negotiations for the second part of that agreement at that time, which included agricultural market access in Taiwan. And that raises the question, now that this new deal seems to be being negotiated to avoid reciprocal tariffs, what's going on with the Initiative for 21st Century Trade, and what's its relationship to this current deal?
I also observed that Trump administration pretty much already put this agreement aside. However, I'm not worried of that, since this agreement was signed by leaders of both countries, was approved by both Congress, by Taiwan Parliament, legislature, as well as by U.S. House and Senate. So this agreement is has full force of an international agreement.
Obviously, these trade negotiations have been very stressful for Taiwan. And a lot of these tariff actions that the U.S. has taken has been through executive power. In other words, when there's a new U.S. president in 3.5 years, all of these tariffs could disappear on day one. All of these actions could be overturned. And I'm just wondering, how does all of this constant cycle of trade tensions affect the long-term relationship between Taiwan and the United States?
Trump, his approach looks like, I think, caused many dissatisfaction to foreign countries, including Taiwan. But we also notice that he is an elected He was elected by United States. And the imbalance was very well seen. Everybody knows there are imbalances in the United States. As we just discussed, huge government deficit, huge trade deficit. Those are need to be addressed. Even without President Trump, it's another president. They still have to face to correct this imbalance. So to Taiwan, it is very clear. I mean, to our advantage, we have to work with the United States. It's to our advantage. I often quote this traditional Chinese saying, as we may lose some battles, but we win the war.
And do you think Taiwan is winning the war?
Of course. See how our economy, see how much we export, see very low unemployment rate, see our national income. We win the war.
That was John Deng, Taiwan's former top trade negotiator. Taiwan is closing in on a deal to purchase nearly 6 million tons of liquefied natural gas from the U.S. state of Alaska.
We already have, and it's moving to an absolute solid offtake with Taiwan of 6 million tons of gas. Now that 6 million tons from Taiwan is the largest offtake in LNG history in terms of sales and purchase from one outfit.
The gas would come from a new project to tap fossil fuels off Alaska's North Slope. Natural gas accounts for about half of Taiwan's energy mix. Word of the deal comes after the U.S. announced it will levy a 20% tariff on imported Taiwanese goods. President Lai Ching-te says that tariff negotiations are ongoing, and Taipei is looking to secure a better deal from Washington. A former Taiwanese Navy officer recently took to social media to accuse his supervisors of bullying. The video went viral, but Taiwan's military denied the allegations. Alan Liu has more.
After more than a decade of service, former Navy Petty Officer Ben Shi says he's left the military because of alleged bullying by his superiors. His video detailing the experience has gone viral, racking up over 5 million views in just 2 days. Shi has more than 160,000 followers on Instagram, where he often shares glimpses of his daily life, from his marriage and home purchases to restaurant visits. He was asked to promote the military's recruitment campaign using his personal social media account. He says he received top performance evaluations and exceeded his recruitment targets. He now accuses the military of unfairly labeling his post as damaging the military's reputation and says his complaints were often ignored. In one review meeting, Shi says he was insinuated to be a Chinese communist sympathizer simply because his wedding photographer was suspected to be from China, an allegation he says was made without any supporting evidence. In response, the Defense Ministry says it has provided official explanations and says Shi's allegations don't align with the facts. The ministry says the Navy reserves the right to take legal action if necessary. Due to the military's rigid hierarchy and discipline-driven culture, bullying has long been a recurring issue in Taiwan's military. A former major general says because the military emphasizes discipline and the collective interest, individual rights are often compromised in the name of serving the greater good.
都是相对比较封闭的一个职场所以说很难去跟外界做比较。那因此常常我们有一些长久的习性或是团体的制约等等。那我们可能要了解是不是它已经逐渐不符合目前社会氛围跟主流的价值。
There have been several high-profile military bullying cases in recent years. In 2024, the family of a 23-year-old soldier accused military superiors of severe bullying, claiming it led to cognitive decline and left the soldier with the mental capacity of a 2-year-old. In another case from 2020, a lieutenant took his own life after allegedly enduring prolonged bullying from his superiors and peers. Both incidents drew national attention. though neither matched the scale of public outcry seen in the 2013 death of Hong Zhongqiu. At the time, conscripted soldier Hong Zhongqiu died of heat stroke while being improperly confined in a military detention facility. The incident sparked widespread public outrage over human rights in the military and deepened public mistrust towards Taiwan armed forces.
过去1个5亿的时代，许多役男离开军中都是带着负面的观感离开的。
To address the problem, Guo says there are 3 aspects to focus on: fostering better education, senior officers setting the right example, and bringing in management culture from civilian workplaces.
那所以说，过去我们常常因为看到高阶人员或上级呢，他有不当的行止之后呢，大家呢就群而效法，那久而久之就会演成这种恶性循环。所以要改善或杜绝军中霸凌的风气的话，那么其中一点就是高级人员一定要以身作则。
As Taiwan places more emphasis on improving its military, all eyes are on whether it can deliver real change and rebuild public trust. Patrick Chan and Ellen Liu for TaiwanPlus.
Women and children in Gaza are bearing the brunt of the hunger crisis as food and aid supplies remain in short supply.
يعني هي 5 مرة أنا أروح على أساس أجيب كيستي فاضي، نفسي أروح لأولادي وكيستي ملانة.
Gaza residents say they are risking their lives searching for food every day. Households without adult men are seeing young children or widowed women forced to go into dangerous aid environments. The last few days alone has seen more than 100 killed. While some aid deliveries into the territory have resumed, international organizations say it is far short of what is needed. Taiwan is on the lookout for more tech talent to bolster its semiconductor industry, but with falling birth rates, it may have to look abroad. Uncovering the secrets of Taiwan's semiconductor power, this group of young foreign students have come to Taiwan to learn more about their chosen industry, straight from the source.
I think it's a pretty unique experience to gain some knowledge on the semiconductor industry. And being Taiwanese, I think it's pretty important to have that knowledge because semiconductor is such a huge part in the Taiwanese economy.
Good morning and welcome.
Held by Hsinchu's National Yangming Jiaotong University and U.S. chip designer Synopsys, this 4-day summer camp is meant to spark an interest in young overseas semiconductor talent. It comes at a time when Taiwan, facing a rapidly declining birth rate, is looking to bolster its leading industry with some help from foreign students.
So there's an urgent need， 非常重要的需求就是我们需要赶快把那个理工科的教育呢往下扎根。所以为什么我们想要在台湾呢做这件事情？一个是台湾的强项，一个是台湾所面临的困境，一起放在一起就很明显，我们就是要先做。
This is the first year the semiconductor camp was held in English, and it attracted students from 8 countries, including the U.S. and Singapore. Taiwan is hoping these foreign students can help keep the country at the top of the industry and maintain its key role in the supply chain.
现在因为有太多的半导体公司，它想要扩张，不管是在台湾或从国外进来的公司，他们都想要在台湾落脚。他们对于这种人才的需求是相当急迫的，也相当需要的。
For the students themselves, the camp was also a chance to learn about Taiwan and imagine a future where they could be a part of its semiconductor industry.
I feel like this camp taught me a lot of things. It brought me into really knowing the industry, including this lab. I think it led me through a lot of innovative techniques that Taiwan developed during the whole process of semiconductors.
As job opportunities in the semiconductor sector rise, Taiwan will continue looking for new talent at home and abroad. Chris Ma and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, meet the Miss Taiwanese American 2025 winner, Amy Wong. She is a jewelry designer who graduated from the Gemological Institute of America. I'm Tiffany Wong. Take care and see you next time.